All right, so I'm just going to start off with an introduction here. It looks like we've got a good bit of people in the, the webinar today, which is exciting. I think we've got a really great talk. So I just wanted to go through a little bit of housekeeping and some introductions today. We do ask that you keep your microphones muted for the duration of the webinar, just to keep things simple. We will have a section for questions at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions, save them for the end. We are also recording this webinar. So if you know someone who wanted to watch but wasn't able to today, we will post this after the fact. So you'll get to see all the exciting stuff today. So thank you all for joining us for our Tree Talks for October. This is our monthly series of webinars where we bring in experts in their field to talk about anything and everything related to trees. So this month, we're actually exploring the coastal canopy with Robert Culte with Save a Tree Savannah. This is sure to be a very exciting talk. I think it's going to be lots of fun. And a quick thank you to Georgia Power for sponsoring this Tree Talk series. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. So just a quick rundown of who we are. I think most of you probably know, but we are the Savannah Tree Foundation. And our mission is to protect and grow Chatham County's urban forest through tree planting, community engagement, and advocacy. And this is some community engagement. This year, this is something we're trying to do digitally. It's a new thing for us. And I think we have some really great speakers lined up. So today's speaker is Robert Culte. He is the branch manager for Save a Tree. He is an ISA certified arborist with 10 years of experience as a production climber and consulting arborist. He specializes in coastal forests of our barrier islands. Robert and his team at Save a Tree Savannah branch offer expert tree and shrub care to clients throughout the coastal empire. So one of the aspects of being a professional arborist is climbing. So he's going to utilize that fantastic skill today to give us a glimpse into the coastal canopy. So I am going to transition here over to Rob. Let me see if he's ready. And let's see here. I will spotlight Rob so we can all focus on his video. And are you ready to go, Rob?
I'm ready. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, I think so. It's a little bit quiet, so if you want to be a little loud, feel free. But it looks great.
You hear me a little bit better now. The mic's on the bottom of the thing there, so does that help? Is that working for you, Jake?
Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hello. I'd like to just kind of reintroduce myself. I'm Rob with Save a Tree. I've been doing this for about a decade, climbing trees. I've always really enjoyed the coastal canopy, so I've made that kind of my area of expertise. And I was really excited to be able to bring the community up with me in the tree today. I think it's an experience that most people don't ever have, or when they did have it, it was when they were a child. And it's most people are probably long overdue. You might hear some horses in the background there. This is a beautiful property that we're on today. Behind me here, we have an amazing old live oak. You can see this tree is probably 200 plus years old. Live oak is kind of a family of quote unquote evergreen oaks that you found on the coast here. This is the actual true southern live oak, the Quercus virginiana. The ecological significance of these amazing trees is, we could talk about that for days, but just to name a couple of things that I thought would be interesting for people to know is, when people are planting their pollinators, of Lepidoptera, which are butterflies and moths. So that's something that a lot of people don't realize, that you can actually get a lot of it. It draws a lot of pollinators in. Also, the nuts that these trees produce are eaten by squirrels, white-tailed deer, and a variety of other wildlife that depend heavily on these trees feeding. So if you want to step in a little bit closer, we'll talk about my climbing system here. So I'll take you guys up in the tree. Anytime you see somebody climbing, they should have a hard hat on, and they should have eye protection as well, which I'll use here in just a moment. These trees are extremely resilient. I often get the question, aren't you afraid of falling? And if you know your ropes well and the tree is trustworthy, it's very, very low risk of falling. In fact, these trees are so strong, they used to be used in the shipping industry for the framework. And I believe it was the USS Constitution that was built specifically out of live oak. And they gave that boat the nickname Old Ironsides because apparently cannonballs would just bounce right off of it. So as far as trees go, this is about the most stout one you could get away with accessing by rope. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of putting my climbing system together for you guys to see how a professional climber actually gets up into the tree. We use a variety of different knots. And I always tell everybody that wants to get into climbing, you really have to understand the language of rope if you're going to do this job and be safe at it. So this is basically what I'm going to use to keep my position in the tree and maneuver around the tree. So if I want to go up, I just can push this up. If I want to stop, I can hang on it and it doesn't go anywhere. If I want to come down, I just tug on the knot and away we go. So I'm going to go ahead and clip into this and I'm going to walk up the tree. But before I do, I'm going to send you guys up to my assistant and you'll get to watch the ascent from the actual canopy. So just bear with me just for one moment. So okay, Caleb, take it away. Hello, people of the world. Oh. All righty. So my first stop of the day is going to be right in here. You can see it's physically laborious to get in the tree, especially when you don't do it every day. I'll unclip from some of my hardware here. And the first thing I'd like to point out is this massive amount of poison ivy right here. This is one of the hazards of doing tree work. We have to worry about wildlife and different plants that can harm us. Most climbers are not allergic to this stuff for obvious reasons. So we've got that going on. I will take you guys right over here. I don't know if you can see, you could show them how extensive this poison ivy goes throughout the canopy here. Pretty amazing. Also gives me a chance to kind of catch my breath. So there's a lot of different things to notice up here in the tree. One of the things is these massive gargantuan branches of the live oak. I mean, I haven't climbed any trees in the world that have such an amazing span. This tree probably spans 150 feet, and while it's probably only about 65 feet tall. So live oaks are really, really good at growing a wide base. One of the things genetically with live oaks is when they're young, they actually have a very, very deep taproot. That keeps them from getting blown over when they're small. But as they grow larger, the taproot eventually gets girdled by the other root system. It grows a massive wide root base, which is also supported by the branches that sometimes grow all the way back down into the ground and then up again. I think we'll go to this next branch right up here, and I'm going to show them a couple of others. Grab back in here real quick. Just like walking up flight of stairs. Okay. All right. So I think our next stop today is going to be pretty interesting. So here you can see we've got a different type of vine in the upper canopy here. Got some creeper vine here coming through. We also have a lot of this Spanish moss. And get a lot of questions about this stuff. You can see here, really beautiful stuff. A lot of people get this removed. I recommend that if you do remove it, wait till after Halloween because it's free decoration, right? Thanks, Caleb, I appreciate that. Another really, really fascinating thing and something that I actually keep in my bonsai garden is this resurrection fern that grows on the live oaks. This stuff is absolutely amazing. And if I could, let me get the camera there. I'm going to show you guys a really close-up view of this stuff here. So this resurrection fern, it just grows off the surface of this deeply furrowed bark. Absolutely fantastic. And as you can see, it's green, but it looks like it's lacking in a little bit of life here. Eventually, this stuff will get so dehydrated that it looks completely dead. But as soon as it rains, it'll become just as lush as its first day. We haven't had a whole lot of rain here lately, but I'll give you a little tour down the branch. See a variety of different mosses here. And then again, some more beautifully green, vibrant resurrection fern here. Absolutely amazing stuff. You can probably hear the birds and all the wildlife around me up here. This tree has been a part of the ecosystem on the coast here, and a lot of animals have come to depend on it. But I did promise you guys I was going to give you a tour of the canopy here, and I also want to give my assistant a shot here. This is what an actual professional looks like. And you can see how just there we go. So watch and go, guys. Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. So yeah, let's just go with me, guys, and we'll kind of just cruise through the canopy here. Now, again, as we go, if anybody has any questions for me, and I have the breath to actually answer, just shout them out. And maybe Jake, if somebody types them in comments, maybe Jake can, here you go, Kel, I'll give that back to you. if we get some questions in the comments, maybe Jake can shout them out to me. Another interesting thing, we have this underbrush growing up here in the uppermost canopy, and I'm not an expert in animal scat, but we do see a lot of that up here as well. Likely from raccoons or possums. Some of this stuff, which you probably don't need to get a close-up of, looks larger to me, probably a good-sized raccoon now.
Hey, Rob, we do have one quick question.
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Randy asks, where is this tree?
Oh, perfect. So I will say that climbing trees typically is illegal, okay? You need to make sure that unless you have written authorization from the property owner to climb the tree. So we've all been signed off, we've all signed waivers. This is at Pegasus Riding Academy. It's another great organization that my wife and I have volunteered for. And it's adjacent to the Victory Gardens here in Savannah. Is there any other questions?
No other questions right now. I'll read them out as we get them.
Okay, cool. I thought I might get lucky and have a bit of a breather, a little bit more. So let me show you this next part too. This is another thing I think is very interesting. Let me get that. Yeah. So one of the things here I wanted to show you is a lot of people ask me all the time, should I remove the dead wood from my tree? And I don't know if you guys can see this, but you see this little bug moving along in the deadwood here up in the canopy? I mean, we are up here, guys. I will say that while deadwood can pose a risk to human safety and can pose a risk to your property, it is wise to keep deadwood on the property that is not a risk to yourself or to your property, because birds and bugs love this stuff. And it's a bit of a tough sell to ask somebody to invite more bugs onto the property. But just think about it this way. You're growing the best bird food that you possibly could. And everybody loves birds. So we'll just look inside of this deadwood here and you can just see how this amazing old piece of wood has been utilized by bugs. We can see little holes and caverns that these guys are living in. And of course the birds come right through here daily, and they've come to depend on these insects that they find in the deadwood in this tree here. So absolutely fantastic. I'll give you guys another really amazing shot of this tree where we're at right now. See this really long skinny branch that just trails off like that? I mean, this is just really inspirational. Beautiful, beautiful tree. This is what makes people want to go into the climbing industry until you ask them to actually walk out there. Then they get a little bit more pensive about it. I'm not going to walk out there because I don't want to make a fool of myself today, but absolutely beautiful. I mean, is this not magnificent? And I'll tell you, in the age of COVID, you know, everybody's getting really sick and tired of these Zoom meetings, but hopefully this is a nice change of pace for those of you that have been stuck in these for the last 6 months. I think we all deserve a little more outdoor time nowadays. Okay, so I'll hand the camera back to my assistant here, Caleb. And on we go. So at this point, I guess I'll just talk a little bit more about the climbing systems that are used. Whenever you're working with a professional climber, you can see I have full access to this tree. I'm not really having any trouble. Probably I'm just as winded if I was lightly jogging or something to that effect. But notice that I can get anywhere I want to in this tree without using climbing hooks to access the tree. Climbing hooks are not an approved method for accessing these trees. And you got to think, whenever I use my climbing hooks, so these are the devices I use to climb up the rope with so quickly. Little homemade looking stuff, but that's the way a lot of climbers are. But whenever we use hooks, we are always basically dismantling dead and diseased trees. So if I use those climbing hooks to take down all the dead and diseased trees in Savannah, and then I go and climb your beautiful ancient live oak, and I start stabbing into the vascular tissues of that old tree, very mature tree. They don't have as much energy in their reserves to bounce back, just like people as they age. So how do you think that that tree is going to fare after I go and just walk trails around this tree and just popping in all the different fungus and bacteria that's killed the last 1,000 trees that I've removed? It's not going to do very well. So this is the reason why we take the extra effort to learn to climb professionally and access the tree on rope. Another thing you can notice here is the rope that I've even installed in the tree, it does not move. I move around the rope. So if I want to go down, I come down. If I want to go up, I go up. But this rope is not moving through the tree. So even where I've installed this rope in the tree, there's no friction. I'm actually minimizing the damage I do to this tree to the fullest extent. And all of our climbers are trained to access any tree. It doesn't matter if it's a specimen oak like this or not. That's being pruned will never be spiked. That's our commitment to these wonderful old trees. So any other questions at this point?
No other questions right now, Rob.
Okay, great. So I guess we can go around a little bit further, and I'll just walk up the tree, and I will find some more interesting goodies for us up there, I'm sure. Here we go. So I've been looking for this stuff.
They got a question.
What's that?
How did you get the rope up there to start?
Oh, I used to play professional. I used to be a major league pitcher. No, we have a special techniques for everything. And well, referencing back to what I said earlier, understanding the language of the rope, we really have to take that to the extremes to be able to access some of these trees. Are very challenging. But essentially, what I do is I have a very thin string with a weight tied to it. I use a special throwing technique that allows me to throw about a 12-ounce ball plus side of 100 feet vertically. And I can go horizontal, maybe 20 or 30 feet at that height. And then we drop the ball back down to the ground, and then we pull up a larger rope. I'll pull up something like this that's rated for life support. So the string that I used to pull this rope up with is rated for 1,000 pounds. This rope's rated for about 8,000 pounds. So we just kind of build into the safety a little bit more there. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, and I've been scouting around here all over the place trying to find some stuff. Let me get that real quick. Is oftentimes people will ask me, what is this stuff growing on the side of my trees? And there's not a large colony of it here. Let me see if I can get a better view of this. But there's a fungus here. I don't know if you can see it super well. Here's another little section of it. It's very difficult to see that little whiteness that's under the ridge of that bark there is a fungus called white patch. It looks like a white patch. That's the easy way to remember it. Here's a little other section of it right here, actually. This white patchy stuff that you see. There's kind of teal looking fungus as well, but this is this white stuff we're talking about, white patch. Live oaks, here you go, Caleb. Live oaks actually shed their bark so slowly. They shed their bark so slowly that the bark actually starts to decay a little bit on the tree. And if we go in here, we can see this fungus is actually coexisting quite well with this old tree. I just pulled a patch of this old, deeply furrowed bark tissue off. This just came right off. And underneath this corky bark tissue, we have the white patch, if you guys can see that in there. And you won't see this on trees that have smoother bark, because the smoother the bark is, typically, the more rapidly that tree is shedding its bark. Live oaks don't shed their bark very rapidly, so they end up with these huge deposits, this massive buildup of this corky material. And as this stuff ages and decays, it provides nutrition for a lot of different species, genus of fungus and lichens and things of that nature. So pretty neat. Alrighty. Yeah, more examples there.
Yeah, it was kind of dark up there.
Okay.
Show it up.
Let's show them your climate system, Caleb, while we're up here.
And a rope runner.
Well, this is Caleb Morrow. He's one of our lead climbers at Save a Tree.
Hey guys.
So go ahead, Caleb, and let's see what you got. Now, Caleb's climbing on these newfangled devices. You see his device is completely mechanical. It's all made out of metal. And a lot of people don't trust these, but they're rated just as well as the old-fashioned rope systems like I climb on. Watch the young man go. Yes, I just saw the question come in. Yeah, they call this the wedding tree out here. And it is the one with the fire scar at the base. There's another one across the pasture that also has a large wound and a fire scar on it as well. But yeah, it certainly is. It's got a massive section of driftwood in the bottom, and it's been all burnt out. It's been gutted out. So one of the things that's important for rope access workers like Caleb here is before we climb, we always want to assess the structural integrity of the tree. And that's certainly a major factor in considering whether or not you're going to actually, you know, make the ascent. 104 feet. Okay, roger that. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, so this tree is totally stable though, even with the massive wound in the base. Probably could use a little bit of TLC, but other than that, it's doing quite well. But yeah, this tree is phenomenal. You can see we are really, really up here. You can see at Caleb's feet is more of that resurrection fern, and it just looks brown and lifeless right now, but the next time it rains,
It's actually a live.
oh, a live piece? Yeah. All right, here you go, Caleb.
Brown and dehydrated. Green and pretty.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Right next to each other on the same limb too.
Okay. So, how much time do we have left, guys?
You're doing great on time. We're at 12:30, so plenty of time to keep going if you'd like.
Okay, gotcha. Again, guys, you know, just another beautiful walk. I guess I don't have a whole lot of material left for you guys, but I think what I'll do is I'll end with just a nice walk through the canopy, and I'll let Caleb kind of just spot me on this one, and you guys can just kind of see a little bit of the action as far as what a climber can do. So. A little bit of tail through here. Right. There's the rest of the tail. I like to have the tail on the path that I'm climbing, so it makes it just a little bit easier to do rappelling, things of that nature.
Hey, Rob, we do have one more question.
Okay,
Someone asked, how long do you train to become a professional climber?
that is a fantastic question. So, the education in the climbing industry is severely lacking, unfortunately. So most people don't do a lot of formal training, unfortunately. There is a few apprenticeship programs that are opening up on the university level, but there's not a whole lot that goes in. There's not a whole lot of formal education out there in this country, at least. So I probably trained for about 2 years under a veteran climber. He worked with Georgia Power, and he got his experience within months. He was walking up on hooks and climbing everything on hooks, pruning trees, and just doing everything that way. But I would say it probably takes about 2 years of on-the-job experience to really start to, get your feet under you and be able to start to be productive in the tree. Because keep in mind, when we're doing this for our 9 to 5, you know, we're not just walking through these trees. Typically, we're pruning these out, and you can imagine pruning some of these massive sections. We have to rig these branches so they don't just fall into somebody's house. You know, there's a lot more involved, and it takes years to really get physically in shape enough to be able to handle a chainsaw. You know, a large chainsaw could weigh 15 to 20 pounds, and that might not sound like a lot, but keep in mind everything that all the tools that we use up here in Canopy, we have to bring up here with us, and we have to carry around with us. So while the education or on-the-job training happens, you know, can happen very quickly, the physical aspect of it is I think a little bit more time-consuming for a lot of people to get. You know.
Another person asked, are all climbers arborists, or are most climbers arborists?
Okay, that's another wonderful question. No, most climbers are not certified ISA certified arborists. I would say that the vast majority of us are not. There's only 40,000 climbing arborists that have been registered worldwide. So there's not a whole lot of climbers that actually have an education beyond just climbing. You know, so when we go up here, we're tasked with caring for these ancient trees, and it does take a specialist to be able to perform that work because these trees are so old. They don't respond as well to injury as a live or a young tree would, you know, as I was mentioning earlier. So the cuts have to be much more precise because if you make a mistake on an old tree like this, it doesn't have the energy to compartmentalize that wound through the coated principle um, like many other trees would. And a great example of that would be the mismanagement of water in laurel oaks. Many people really don't like water in laurel oaks. And most of the time, the reason why that is because they're riddled with pockets of decay. And that is just a genetic characteristic of that species. And that species is great because it actually, you know, that those pockets of decay that the tree creates are good for secondary cavity dwellers that can't create their own homes. So while that tree is economic or environmentally significant, if you're an unqualified pruner, every wound you leave in that tree is going to become a structural defect. So everybody's going to end up hating you as a tree species. Nobody likes the water oak. Nobody wants the laurel oaks around their home. But really, that's our fault for not managing the species properly and prescribing cuts that are too large in diameter too frequently for those. Now, live oaks, you get away with a lot more, but obviously, I would say you can get away with a lot more for a longer period of time, but eventually those same sorts of problems will manifest, especially in these ancient live oaks. And actually, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a Lepidoptera right under this branch here, right where the one you're laying on, Caleb.
Talking about this plant over here?
No, it's a moth right here, right underneath that. There's a little, oh, there it was, it just flew off.
Oh.
There it goes. Yeah.
It's gone.
So there you have it. You know, we're talking about Lepidoptera. You know, we just found one that was resting up here in the canopy. There's so much life that depends on these trees and us to preserve these. And I think another fair point is, you know, when these trees die, or say they're mismanaged and they become hazardous down the road, and then removal is prescribed, there's no amount of small diameter trees that's going to offset the habitat that this produces. That the scat that we found earlier from the raccoon or possum lives in a cavity in this tree. I don't care how many 2-inch caliper live oaks you plant, it's not going to house a raccoon. Whereas, you know, this tree, you know, it might be 16 inches in diameter. I mean, 32-inch diameter live oaks is just not going to do it. You know, it's just not going to, there's no way to do it other than to plant this and wait 200. That's the only way to replace this, the environment that's up here. And I'll tell you, I'm really pleased that the Savannah Tree Foundation was kind enough to allow me to bring an audience up into this habitat and into this ecosystem. And hopefully this gets out and people see it. And can grow to appreciate this amazing world that we all live under and we all depend on, whether we know it or not. And so much wildlife depends on it as well. So is there any other questions in there at this time?
I haven't seen any more pop up.
No more? Okay.
No others right now.
No others right now? Okay. So, you know, guys, I think that's about all my old bones can handle in this tree today. You know, I guess I'll go ahead and make my descent. Caleb can kind of watch me as I go down. And if there's any other questions when I get down there, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. So. Alrighty. All right, see you guys.
Alrighty. Well,
You want to
I can if you want me to. I'm paranoid of dropping it no matter what I do, so.
yeah, go ahead, just toss it.
Okay, here you go.
There we go. Okie doke. All right, I'll just hold it like this. Okay. And there we have it, guys. I hope you, I hope you enjoyed walking through the canopy with me here today. You know, it's a really special tree. Again, you can see some of our rigging back there behind me. It's a fantastic job to have. If you know anybody that's interested, have them give me a call. We love to train folks up. As you can see, Caleb up there in the tree, I trained him up from day one, and now he's flying through the tree. He put Tarzan to shame. So, again, wonderful, wonderful tree. I mean, this thing is just absolutely fantastic here. So, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But I'll give you guys one last chance to if anybody has anything for me. Okay.
And while we're waiting for questions, Rob, just thank you so much again. This was fantastic, absolutely incredible to see all that from the perspective of in the canopy. And thank you for giving us a little look into what a climbing arborist actually does.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
All right.
All right.
I'm just going to switch back over to our slideshow. So thank you again, Rob. We really appreciate it. And thank you all for attending our October Tree Talks. We will be doing these every month. So stay tuned for next month. We have another exciting speaker. You'll have to wait and see. If you do have any questions, feel free to email us or visit our website or give us a phone call. We're always happy to talk trees. And thank you all again for attending our Tree Talks. And as I mentioned, this will be recorded and posted for sharing later. So if you know someone else who wants to watch, feel free to share it and they can get a tour through the canopy as well. All right, thank you all again so much for attending, and we will see you at next month's Tree Talk. Take care.